let's talk about line choice, right from reels down to rig line. Now, I'm a big believer, as we all are, to use a line that we're confident with, that is not going to let us down, but also ticks all the boxes. It's a braided, it's got a good knot strength. And for that reason, I love using X-Age. It's just such a great all-round line for all my reel lines, mainly for my commercial fishing, because that's what I'll use mono for. When it comes to my natural water, I'll swap to braid. But for all mono work, I use this in diameters right from 0.16 up to 0.22. So I'd be using 0.22 for my commercial work with a 9 and 10 foot rods when I'm fishing straight through to an inline feeder or an elasticated feeder. Whereas today I'm at Barston, I'm using this as a mainline, but I'm using it as a shock leader setup. So I've got it as 0.18, which is this there, as a mainline, and then I've got a 10-pound shocker. We're going to do another video to show you exactly how to tie the correct shock leader knot for this setup. But the beauty about this line is it comes off the spool so smooth, and especially when you're looking at further distances, reaching those further distances, 60, 70, 80 meters or even further, having a line that has minimal resistance as it comes off that spool really does enable you to reach those further distances with efficiency. You're not just going to reach it once or twice, you're going to fish at that range comfortably, and that's what it's all about, and that's what you get from X-Age. Now, what I also love about X-Age is it sinks really well. It doesn't sink too quick. You don't want a feeder line that sinks like a rocket. Me as an angler, sometimes I want to float my line on the surface, and other times I want to sink it. And that's exactly what you get from X-Age, which blends perfectly as well for pellet waggler work as well, which comes on to my next discussion when it comes to float work. Now, we brought out a new line called Aero float line, specifically designed for float fishing. And I tell you why this is so good. It's a really buoyant line, and I use it a lot when I'm river fishing. I've got a lot of friends that have swapped to this because they absolutely love it for stick float and waggler fishing on the rivers. Because of that reason, it's easy to mend. It's what we call a light line. So you can imagine as you're fishing on a river and you're fishing a waggler or a stick float, and the line starts to go off course, because it's such a light, manageable line, it allows you to lift the rod up and mend the line and straighten that line again to create great presentation, so your float has a true run down the river in line with where your bait's going. And that's exactly what you get from this line. Again, great knot strength and diameters that suit the actual style of fishing, right from 0.14 up to 0.19. So ideal from your standard conventional waggler stick float work right up to your pellet waggler work on your commercial waters like where we are today at Barston. So if you're in the market looking for a great float line, I really would advise you on looking at that. Now, when it comes to rig line, Aero Slick Silk, absolutely love it. Rig and hook length line, it's why it's been specifically designed mainly for rig line. The biggest problem with putting shot on a line is when you actually go to move it up, it burns the line, causes friction, and in the process damages it. This line has got an unbelievable knot strength, but we've also created a lovely coating on it. So when you actually put shot onto it and slide it up, there's literally no damage on the line whatsoever. So when you're at home making rigs, A, it's easier for you to make the rigs on this line, but also your rig line is going to last for a longer period of time because it's not being stressed from the shot being run up and down it. So if you're in the market looking for a great rig line, I must advise that you've got to look at this because it's brilliant. And also it's mic'd up really accurately as well, so you know exactly the true diameter that you're actually using. Now, my favourite conversation is fluorocarbon. Years ago I never used it, but since the introduction of this, the Aero fluorocarbon, this is incredible. And why I love it is from a conventional feeder work. What fluorocarbon, the properties within fluorocarbon are so attractive to me when it comes to conventional feeder work is, as far as we're aware, the fish can't see it. But to me, it's not about that. It's the properties of the fluorocarbon that are so attractive. It's a really stiff line. So you can imagine when you're fishing a conventional feeder with braid, and you're fishing, you could be fishing bunches of maggots, bunches of pinkies, double worm, fishing a window feeder at range, catching a lot of fish, getting a lot of bites. You don't want to be swapping hook lengths, but you want something that's reliable and that also causes minimal twist on the return. And that is exactly what you get from this line. So if you're in the market or you're finding it hard to settle on a line for your conventional hook lengths for feeder fishing, you've got to give this a go, because you will never swap to any other line. It is simply incredible. So we've got a choice of lines within Shimano that really tick all the boxes, right from your commercial fishing right up to your natural water fishing, right down to your float fishing on rivers and small drains, and pellet waggler work as well. So we've literally got a line that ticks all the boxes for rod and line work.